Today in the battle arena, we have a galactic showdown between two of the most powerful MCU characters we've seen so far. Captain Marvel versus Thanos. In one corner, we have the Mad Titan himself, the ultimate bad guy who brought us the battle of the ages. Honestly, the battle that's been brewing for over 10 years and 20 movies. We finally get Thanos, and he doesn't disappoint. In the other corner, we have the former U.S. Air Force pilot and whose life was changed when she encountered the Tesseract, Carol Danvers, now known as Captain Marvel. These two encountered one another during the Avengers Endgame movie, but what if they went head to head, no surprises? Who would come out on top? Stay tuned to find out. What's up, guys? I'm Drew, and this is DanCo. Thank you so much for watching our channel. If you enjoyed this video or videos you've seen in the past, make sure to subscribe, to like, turn on the notification bell, and when you have the notification bell on, it alerts you every time that we upload to the channel, so you'll be the very first to watch, to comment, and to leave your thoughts. Also, if you have any other battles that you would love to see on the channel, please make sure to comment those below, and thank you so much for watching. Now, let's get into the fight. Let's start with Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, the former U.S. Armed Force pilot. After this explosion interaction with the Tesseract, leading to her absorbing its energy, the Kree steals her away to take advantage of her power and potentially use her in the war against the Skrulls. She slowly starts remembering who she is, and once she's broken away from the Kree's photon inhibitor, she's actually able to use her full power. She teams up with the SHIELD team.
What's in your wallet?
And Captain Marvel was born. Let's talk about Captain Marvel's specific strengths. Since Captain Marvel and Thanos went up against each other in Endgame, we can see some of the specific strengths and skills that's going to come out in this battle against Thanos. So let's talk about those first. Captain Marvel was successful at blitzing Thanos, which we've seen some of the other Avengers do in the past, but he's been able to hold his own because of his size and his strength. She was able just to bring him down to his knees. We know that Carol receives her powers from absorbing the Tesseract's powers. She's able to manipulate cosmic energy, so whenever she's fighting Thanos, we see her grab the gauntlet, and she starts to actually harness some of the power from the gauntlet. That's why she's able to survive the headbutt from Thanos, and then ultimately take him down to his knees.
So what are Danvers' strengths outside of her fight with Thanos?
She's able to hold her own against Kree soldiers, against Skrull fighters, break through doors, blast through ceilings, fire beams of energies from her hand. Her favorite is flying through spaceships like a missile, tearing them all apart. Her power is almost unscalable because we don't really get to see her fight very often. She's very much like this most of the movie.
Have you been all this time?
There are a lot of other planets in the universe.
As she patrols the universe, setting bad guys straight, it's really convenient for her to get tied up and miss out on a lot of fights here on Earth.
So my theory is that she is so powerful, we still haven't seen all that she's able to do, and they're potentially saving her for bigger, badder bad guys.
We really just get to see her in Endgame for a second, and when she shows up, she kind of runs the show. And of course, this is after all the other Avengers have been knocked down and worn out. Same for Thanos. He's been fighting the whole movie. But she's one that goes head to head with Thanos. Right before, we see Thor and Captain America and Iron Man having a hard time with Thanos teaming up. And so this is how strong Carol Danvers is. She's able to do this on her own. That's all about her strength. Now let's talk about her speed. We see that she has a super blitz. She's able to knock Thanos down. And in some of the movies, she moves like a blur. We don't see many Avengers move like a blur. She has the ability to fly, but not only just that, she can go light speed. We see her push Talos to a new planet through like a warp light speed. She recons a whole planet in seconds and light blurs again into Thanos' hut at the very beginning of Endgame.
Carol's the fastest Avenger we've seen yet, and potentially the fastest in all of Marvel. That's my hot take for this video.
When it comes to Carol's durability, like we mentioned before, she's able to survive a hit from the Power Stone. That's about as tough as it gets. She's able to tank an explosion from the Time Machine van. Captain Marvel can survive in space with or without her helmet. She's space durable. She takes hits from the Kree's fighter ships that are shooting blasters at her, and it seems like she's really just absorbing it or just getting annoyed by it. Like I mentioned before, she survived a hit from the Power Stone. This is what it did to Ronan in the Guardians movie. And from this movie, this is considered the low end of its power. It only knocks Captain Marvel back, and she has minimal damage after the hit from Thanos. So needless to say, Carol Danvers Captain Marvel is stupid strong. Now let's talk about the Mad Titan. So yeah, Thanos, the Mad Titan from planet Titan, his background is that he's an Eternal with the deviant gene, making him stand out even amongst his kind. We don't get to see much of his story in the MCU, mainly that he's just filled with this desire for health and prosperity. His planet is lacking the resources to survive and to provide for all the population, so his idea is to kill off half the population.
But random, dispassionate fare to rich and poor alike. They called me a madman.
And as predicted, Titan crumbles. So Thanos partnered with the Chitauri army to help him destroy half the populations from planet to planet across the universe. And then, excited about gaining the Infinity Stones, he could finish the job with just one snap. Thanos has lived a long life full of fighting smarts and wisdom. He's also naturally strong and definitely intimidating. So let's start off with his specific strengths. Thanos has kicked and thrown gods, knocked our Captain America out with one punch to the head, knocks out Drax, even hand-to-hand overpowers and outboxes the Hulk, and he knocks him out with ease. This is the Hulk. This is the guy that smashes things. Thanos just made him look silly, made him look small. He crushes Loki, he breaks Cap's shield with his sword, tears out the Mind Stone from Vision, crushes the Tesseract with his hand. This is what happens when people touch the Tesseract. Thanos is able to wield the gauntlet because he's actually just that strong. And the more impressive feat that Thanos has is his durability. He's knocked down several times through the movie, but let's be honest, he's being double teamed most of the time and usually fighting for a long period of time. He's struck by Thor, the god of thunder's lightning bolt and axe, a sequence of hits from Spider-Man, hit with Mjolnir by Captain America. Nebula crashes her actual ship into him, hits from the Hulk, a huge structure pushed down on top of him by Iron Man, punched several times by Captain Marvel. He's not indestructible. He's been cut by Drax. He's been blasted by Star-Lord's energy bomb, crushed by Wanda's power, magic, and he even sheds a drop of blood fighting Iron Man.
All that for a drop of blood.
Thanos isn't really known for his speed, but with his smarts and his strength, he's able to avoid a lot of the danger that will come with not being very fast.
He's quick enough to stop Loki from using the Space Stone. He's strong enough that when he spins his sword, that's fast enough to block the multiple beams that Iron Man is using in Mach 85. We see his actual speed here in his sparring match with the Hulk and his dodge and grab combo he did against Captain Marvel. Thanos' power in Endgame and Infinity War, it really goes unmatched. And the best matchup, honestly, is him versus Captain Marvel. So that's enough about them individually. What happens if they fought one another? We see a little bit of what happened from the movie, but we're not really quite sure what would happen if it was a knockdown drag out. In their fight, Thanos had the Infinity Gauntlet. That seems like a disadvantage,
But I've been thinking about this a lot. To say that Thanos should fight without the gauntlet is sort of like saying that
Thor should fight without Mjolnir or Captain should fight without his shield. We saw two different Thanoses and both ended up with the gauntlet. I think there should be some sort of respect shown to Thanos. He's smart enough and capable enough to receive all the stones and to wield the gauntlet against all odds. So if he's big and bad enough that he gets it twice, there's a good chance that in most fights, most Thanoses will probably have the gauntlet. We even see him show up in What If with the gauntlet, with everything but the Mind Stone. That ended a little different, so let's stay in this fight. Maybe later we can talk about what happens when Ultron wins. We see that Carol's able to absorb the power from the gauntlet as well, just by being close to it, just proximity. In Endgame, she's sucker punched by the Power Stone, but this was obviously so the movie can move on to the big Tony moment, right? Carol doesn't even come back till all that happens. I think that these two go head to head with each other. It's going to be a long fight.
no one's going to actually stomp anybody out in this fight, but I think this is probably the closest matchup that Thanos has up to this point in all the MCU.
So how will it go down? When it comes to strength, Thanos is naturally strong. Carol is just a human with superpowers. Those powers are able to give her untapped power. I think with the right source, the Infinity Stones, for example, It'll make her probably even stronger than Thanos. I know that the gauntlet usually weakens you too, so Thanos may be fighting from a weaker state. Captain Marvel dusts Thanos when it comes to speed and mobility. She could fly circles around Thanos. But the one thing that may give Thanos the upper hand and ultimately the win today is his experience and his eternal lineage. The same way we don't know a ton about how strong Captain Marvel actually is, we don't know a ton of information, especially from the MCU, about the Eternals. We do have a movie coming out soon, but Thanos is an Eternal with the deviant gene like we talked about at the very beginning of the video. And Russo's claims that he is about 1,000 years old, so hundreds of years old. He claims he's the Genghis Khan of the universe. So there's a ton of technique and knowledge that Thanos carries around into each battle he walks into. I think it's going to be hard for Captain Marvel to fight and to win, being that she's only been alive for about 50 years. Besides the obvious crazy stuff that the Gauntlet's able to do by snapping away Captain Marvel or putting her in a time loop or changing her reality into something crazy, let's give full respect to the brawl here between these two. I think Thanos still comes out for the win, but I will say this as a disclaimer. Captain Marvel could stomp Thanos if all of her feats made rational sense. Like, think about it for real. She's able to move at light speed. Is Thanos able to take a hit by something that's coming at him at light speed? I'm going to have to go with Thanos today, but I would not be surprised by the next few movies if we see feats from Captain Marvel that completely turn this around. From what all we have today, I'm going to have to go with Thanos. Thanos wins. But what do you think? Make sure to sound off in the comments down below. I'd love to see who you think wins this battle. Also, be sure to hit the subscribe button, the like button, and turn on the notification bell for more videos like this every single week. And until then, I'll see y'all next time.